Real people, real opinions.
Real Talk Radio. The multi-award winning Niall Boylan Show.
Ireland's classic hits.
I think what's very interesting at the moment is the way we treat people who come to this country. And there are two trains of thought. And I don't agree with people just being called right-wing because they may not agree with the amount of people that come in. I agree with people being called right-wing racists when they say racist things, or they're horrible, or they express hatred towards people they don't even know. But it has been confirmed that the electric picnic site in Stradbally, County Laois, will be used to accommodate 750 Ukrainian refugees in tents for 6 weeks. Now, they're saying 6 weeks. It could be longer than that because I don't know where the government are going to find accommodation. Anyway, this is, of course, in the midst of what can only be described as a total crisis of accommodation, both for these individuals and also for Irish residents. Minister for Higher Education, Simon Harris, has said there are no easy solutions to this, and he's dead right, there isn't. He said Ireland has got to be extraordinarily honest that there isn't a straightforward answer. To answer to the question of how those fleeing war who come to this country might be housed, or for how long they might be tented or in tented accommodation or other imperfect alternatives. I have to scratch my head at the word imperfect. This is beyond imperfect. Surely it's even inhumane. Or is it humane? I don't know. Look, over 70,000 people attended the electric picnic the weekend. Twitter was flooded with comments about how wrecked people were from their 3-day stints in the fields and tents. Many, I'm sure, would support the message refugees welcome. But we have to be realistic here. We are putting hundreds of human beings into a field in autumn in Ireland in conditions that most of us would find absolutely detrimental to our physical and mental health. So what are we doing? And I ask this because today we received a message from a man and it read, Niall, all this talk about the tents at electric picnic, beggars can't be choosers. If you're fleeing war, you take what you get. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that. If you're going to bring people in, my view is you have to look after them. I want to ask tonight, what do you think about this situation? Leaving aside the question of whether or not we should be taking in so many people, because according to a Red C poll, over 76% of people believe we've overdone it. I'm sure people will want to come on and say that. Anyway, I want to know, is it inhumane to put people into tents? Is it acceptable for the Irish state to house human beings in tents? Now, joining me is Paschal McAvoy, who's a Fianna Fáil councillor in County Laois, and you're very welcome to the show.
Thanks, Niall. Thanks for having me.
I know the intro, I suppose, maybe sensationalised it slightly, but not really when you think about it. 750 people are going to be in tents. Is that suitable accommodation?
Absolutely not. No, but you'd hope that the contract is for 750 people. You'd hope it never reach that. We'll just come from a meeting there tonight where we met the management company and the landowner, and 25 have actually arrived today via the airport, via the City West, and it's all women and children between the ages of 4 and 60. So that's the start of it. And as you said yourself in your intro, it's inhumane to have people living in tents, but there's no other option available in this country at the moment. So,
I mean, we're not having a great summer so far. Okay, this week is reasonably warm, but next week might be cold again. And 6 weeks, that'll lead us into the autumn. And the way things are at the moment, it could be longer than 6 weeks. We've 40% of hotel accommodation now being occupied by refugees in Ireland. So there's nowhere else that we can put them. We can't build houses quick enough for, our own people, as well as refugees and asylum seekers as well, people seeking international protection. Paschal, being honest, is there a point that we have to get to where we must be honest with ourselves and say, hold on, let's put a pause on this for the moment? Other countries there can be helpful too. We'll put a pause in it. Let's get our stuff together. Let's get the people we have here housed properly, in decent accommodation. And then once we're set, once everything is okay again, let's take a few more in. Is that not what we should be doing, logically?
Yeah, it's all about getting the balance right. Like, to be fair, and I hear what you're saying, and to a point I agree. We need to say enough. We have room for anymore. But these Ukrainians aren't interfering with our own social housing.
Oh no, I'm aware of that. I'm not suggesting that at all.
I genuinely do agree with, but you have to think the humane side of this, where they're coming from. Can we actually leave them over there to be in the middle of a war that have
But here's the thing. At this present moment in time, I think we're up to about 85,000 or 90,000 Ukrainian people in Ireland, right? And that number is growing. It's seemingly it's starting. The numbers are starting to rise again very quickly, right? But if we said no, or if we as a country said, listen, we just can't do this right at the moment. We don't have enough accommodation. We're in the middle of a housing crisis as it is. We have a problem here. Other countries might step in and step up to the plate and say, well, okay,
totally agree with you.
and give them better accommodation than we can offer them.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Other countries need to step up to the mark. But like we just, we're a very human country. We know what it's like to be. We suffered back in our ancestors about what it's like to have to leave our country. We're very kind society here in Ireland. But I will agree with what you're saying. But I think this has to happen at European level. That other countries need to take in more. We have done our bit. We've been working hard, and in fairness to everyone, in general public, they've all been very kind to these Ukrainians, But look at it's to get the balance right.
But this is not being kind, is it? I mean,
Pascal. I know, but is it better than being bombed and shot in Ukraine? This is
it's not, Pascal, but it certainly isn't better than being in another country and being looked after better than you could be looked after here because we have no room at the inn.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is,
the European Union needs to step in and insist on all countries.
What are they going to do? Are they going to have portable showers? Portable bathrooms. What about the kids and education?
Yeah,
I mean, it's a disaster. It's a silly idea.
I'll give you what I know. There's no education on site. The 25 that came in today are only staying for 2 weeks or maximum. They'll be moved on to permanent accommodation. There is showers on site. There is toilets that probably Portaloos. I'm not sure of that, but there is hot meals being provided by a catering company, and everything else. There's heating on site. But look I went in there last night. They're going to be living in tents. There's no getting away from that.
No.
We're actually going to be living in tents. And you made a good point. I was talking to young people that had a massive weekend at the electric picnic, probably the best one we've had in 20 years. And all they have been saying is, Jesus, when I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I was fair cold. Do you know what I mean? And these are young people that are
and they're prepared for it. At least they know they're going home to a warm bed. Yeah.
Yeah. But this is what I'm saying. It's going to be and the temperatures are going to drop dramatically over the next number of weeks. So I would be opposed to having them in tents, but you have to think where else you're going to go.
Well, if you're opposed to it, and many others are opposed to it as well, why are we accepting it? Why are we saying, and why do we keep saying, come on in? Because we can't do it, Pascal. We just can't do it.
Yeah, I think we are getting very close to where we're going to have to close the gate. That's it for a while.
We're very close to it. We're gone past it.
We're probably past it.
We're long past it. Pascal, I spoke to councillors last year, politicians last year, who told me themselves, and on the record, on this show, they told me that we should have capped numbers at, say, 50,000 or whatever it was, until we got a situation where we had accommodated those who wanted to stay and didn't want to return. Yeah. So, and then when we got to that point, then we could say, right, well, okay, look around, maybe we can take another 20. You know what I mean? But we're not doing that. It's just like, as many as want to come, you come on in. We've nowhere for you to stay, but you come on in anyway. So that's pointless.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah, but as I said, the government have issued statements to the Ukrainian government saying that we are full, but they're still coming. And unless we physically say no, we're not allowing you into our country. That's it. But that's
what we have to do. Isn't that what we have to do?
Well, are we entitled to that under European law? I don't know.
Well, now, Micheál Martin claims we're not, but I've had other experts in law on the air saying we absolutely can because we don't have the accommodation. And here's the thing, we also have to listen to the people of the country. And according to the Red C poll, 76% of people believe we're letting too many people in. So that means they have... Now, some of those people may be racist, I don't know. But many of those people are genuinely just concerned. They're concerned about the people we're letting in too. They're concerned that maybe they're not being treated properly. So there are genuine concerns.
Yeah, there was... we had a public meeting there tonight in relation to this year's Australia, and there is genuine concern. And there's a major issue I had with all the people coming to Australia is the lack of communication with the general public. Do you know what I mean? There was rumours circulating over the weekend there and all types of stuff coming up. But I agree with what you said, but I keep thinking back to where they actually are before they come to us. You know what I mean? Before they come to whatever. If nobody takes them, what happens? We leave them there to die. You know, I mean, like that's really what.
And there's no room in hotels. We've had hotel owners on the air over the last 3 or 4 weeks in particular saying how difficult business has been during the summer because particularly in small towns, we've had restaurateurs on from Kerry, from Sligo, all over the country saying that because they depend on the tourism in the area, the local hotels, which are now practically full of refugees, are getting no business. And that's also a concern. We need to, but it's almost like the government are ignoring all of these problems. I mean, Simon Harris himself said, it's imperfect. I mean, that's the understatement of the year.
Yeah, but look, we all know it's imperfect. But the war in Ukraine shouldn't be happening either, you know what I mean?
But no, I'm aware of that, Pascal. But we have to, there's a point we have to get to where we say, and we cruel to be kind, as they say. You say to families or to people.
Well, I could not agree with you that cruelty would mean leaving them in their own country.
No. What I'm saying is, take me up right here. Be cruel to be kind. In other words, we don't have room, so you can't come here. But let's force the EU, as they have done with Ireland, to get other countries to step up to the plate.
Yeah, I agree with you all day long on that. But until such time as that is done, and I'm not suggesting we not to take them because we are running into serious problems with them. Like it's madness when you look at it. Like people sleeping in tents in September, October. It's crazy.
In the middle of a field. 750 people that have just come from a war, and we stick them in a field.
Yeah, there's not even a petrol station. Now, I know, but that's where we are in Australia. It's a small little town with less than 1,500 people in it. But look I don't have the solution, but I think we just have to be a little bit humane as well as.
I have the solution. I've just given you the solution. We say no. That's the solution.
I say no with you all day long if someone else says yes.
That's what I'm saying. We say no, and hopefully somebody else will say yes. I mean, France, for example, have only taken in, I think it's something like 0.5% per head of population, and then they stopped. You know what I mean? We've taken in a lot more than that per head of population.
We've done more than our share of it.
Absolutely. So we've nothing to be ashamed of.
No, we've nothing to be ashamed of, but yeah, look, I accept what you're saying to a point, but I still go back to saying, I just would, as a part of a European deal, I totally agree. We have more. We probably should be, if we could send some of them to other European countries, and I'd have no problem with that because they'd have better facilities because we have our own facilities for the beer. That's basically it. Okay, all right. Well, look, hopefully, I'll let you go now because I know you're a busy man. Thank you for taking the call from us. Yeah, but unfortunately, that's a really bad situation. And I genuinely hope there isn't 750 people at any stage because that'll be a disaster. I don't believe there will be. No, I don't believe there will. I think it'll be rotating. You know, maybe somebody this week, it's mine next week. You know, but I suppose to be fair, the contract was for 750 people. Just I suppose
for 6 weeks.
Top line, you know. For 6 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, but we have seen other contracts that were for 5 or 6 weeks in City West and places like that as well, which have been extended and extended and extended. So
yeah, well, now you could ring me in 6 weeks' time, and if they're still there, I'll be making plenty nice. Not I'm just a local councillor, but it's talk about being inhumane. As women and children to stay in tents in October, November, not just.
Imagine that women with little babies and everthing staying in tents. Ridiculous.
Absolutely, it's totally madness. Yeah.
Okay, listen. Thank you, Pascal.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
There you go. Pascal McAvoy is a Fianna Fáil councillor in Laois. It's bonkers. This is just bonkers. I don't know if it's virtue signalling or what the hell it is, but it's madness. Why would you? I mean, we've done our fair share. We've nothing to be ashamed of, as said Pascal, in relation to per head of population, the amount of people we've taken into Ireland. Nothing to be ashamed of. Other countries have taken in far less per head of population. You know, and when I said to be cruel to be kind, I wasn't suggesting you send people back to a war. But what I'm saying to you is, if we don't do it, other countries will have to do it and offer them something better than a tent in the middle of a field. Huh? But then again, somebody did send me in a message and said, Niall, all this talk about tents at the electric picnic, beggars can't be choosers. If you're fleeing war, you take what you get. Do you really think that's a fair comment? Let me know what you think. The number is 087 188 0008. As Martin has said over the last 3 or 4 nights, and he's probably going to text in again. No, he hasn't yet, but I'm sure he is. I can't remember the exact wording, but it was something to do with the government in this country make a mess of everything they do. Let me go to Fiona. Hi, Fiona. How are you doing?
I'm very good, Niall. I'm inclined to agree with Martin. The government have done it again.
They just, nothing they do is right.
There's something wrong with them. If it's water in the Dáil, something's not right.
or is it Jack Daniels they're pouring out in those bottles? I mean, I know we can kind of laugh a little bit here, but this is bonkers. Allowing people to
bonkers.
constantly flood into a country where you've nowhere to actually accommodate them. That's even worse than not allowing them in. It's actually inhumane.
Yeah, and outside of that, it's not making sense. And if it's not making sense, something's wrong. So, like, you bring them all into the country, and as you say, you put them into tents. Now, give them a couple of days of rain, what kind of conditions they're going to be living in. So, yes, totally inhumane. On the other hand, I can't understand why we keep saying, come on in, doors are open, let's open, come on. We'll bring some more. We'll take another 100,000. And we can't look after our own. We can't mind ourselves at the moment the way we're being crucified in our own country.
Well, they did
So I
predict.
just
They
don't
did
get
predict last year that it would be 200,000 people. We're now at about 85 to 90,000 Ukrainians. That's not including the 25,000 or more people seeking international protection as well. So we're probably up around the 120,000 mark or close enough to it. We're now at the max. We can't do that. I mean, not in such a short space of time. We just can't find accommodation for people. We're filling hotels, bed and breakfast. Now we're filling fields. I mean, this is madness.
Yeah. But I personally think, I'm looking at all the apartments going up all around where we are, here down in Cork, right? And they're all one-bedroom apartments. So it's all a bigger plan. It's a bigger plan. They're going to house, I don't know. It just don't make sense. There's nothing being accommodated for families who are genuinely looking for homes out there. The prices of property,
Going
the
through
prices
ceiling.
of food,
Yeah.
everything has gone through the ceiling. Nothing is making sense. And we'll bring in another load of refugees to put ourselves under a bit more pressure. It's loony. It's loony. There is obviously, and as you say, the government are ignoring everything that's been said. Because in behind, while we're sitting around and we're moaning about it, they're passing laws. So that if we open our mouth in 6 months' time, we're being called, God knows, fascists or Nazis, or because you'll have an opinion on something. So you're afraid to have an opinion on something. Well, my opinion here is what the government are doing is absolutely, if it was long ago, there'd be an investigation, they'd be taken down to St. Anne's and they'd be all checked out.
Well, yeah,
Let's be fair.
I mean, who even thought this was a good idea?
Who even thought this was a good idea?
I mean, let's put a load of tents in Stradbally with the electric picnic. Sure, it was grand for the weekend for the gigs. Sure, people will live there. I mean, who thought this was a good idea?
I don't know.
I'm blown.
They got one
I'm
good
blown
day
away
anyway.
by it. You know what I mean?
I did one day at a concert this year, and let me tell you, I didn't stay a second day.
Well, I can tell you, I'm a cold creature. I've never gone to an outdoor gig in my life. Because I couldn't stay in a tent overnight. That would be my idea of hell. Actually, do me a favour, stay there. Let me go to, I think it's Ayub. Ayub, am I pronouncing your name right? Hello? Oh, is he there?
Maybe.
Is it Ayub? I think I got him. Don't know if he's there or not. Anyway, we'll come back to him in a second. Maybe he's on a different line.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yes. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Am I pronouncing your name properly? Is it Ayub?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so you're from Afghanistan and you originally came to Ireland as a refugee. I mean, what you're witnessing in Ireland currently at the moment, is that inhumane?
Well, at some point, I can say yes, but look at the amount of refugees that they are coming to this country. And plus, there is another point that I would add to your topic is the people who are being granted a status like in 2019 or 2020 or 2022, they are still living in those direct provision where they should have find their own place or space for themselves.
Yeah. When? By the way, when did you come to Ireland first, Ayub?
I came in 2019 when the COVID started. So I was here in Ireland at that time.
Okay, and
Yeah.
what's your status now? Have you been given permission to remain, or are you?
No, I was like, because normally what's happening if you're from Afghanistan. Then
Oh, you were given refugee status. Okay. So
Yeah,
so
so
you didn't
I-
come as an asylum seeker. No.
No.
Yeah.
I came illegally. I had nothing with me, but it wasn't the case like I fly from another country to another, to one country to another, and then I rip off my passport or something. No, I came completely in different way. Like, it was horrible way that I came to here. It took me like almost quite like 3-4 years to get to Ireland.
Okay, and currently at the moment, are you working? Have you got a PPS number? Are you being looked after, or what's your situation?
As soon as they give me work permission, I left the direct provision house, and even I wasn't granted a status or anything, and I start working, and I left the accommodation center, and I find myself a place and start working.
So what you were saying to me is there are people that could be working, but they're still living in direct provision, still living off the state, and they should actually be at work.
Absolutely. There are people, like, they've been granted status in 2021, and they are still living in direct provision where they should be living there.
Well, I think this was mentioned by the government a while ago, that those people shouldn't be still there because they're taking up spaces for new people who are coming in.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, the second thing is, it's not only if you are saying, okay, only Afghan or Ukrainian or some other nationalities, they are coming to the country. It's not only that. We are receiving people like that, not in 10 or 20 or 30. They are in hundreds and thousands. Every day they are coming to this country. So
yeah, back in 2019, there was about 4,000 or 5,000 people a year. Now we're looking at 120,000 people in 1 year. So there's a bit of a difference. So there's nowhere to put people. So this idea that they have that, 750 Ukrainians can be accommodated in tents in Stradbally where we have our outdoor electric picnic every year. I mean, this is a ludicrous idea.
Look, they have the choice. Like, look, Ukrainian, I know they flee from the war, but the people, like, for example, if individuals, they should have left their accommodation that was provided to them, like in 2 years before or 3 years before. They should have that sense, like, okay, families coming from Ukraine or other countries or whatever, they have a child. They cannot stay in the tents or something,
Yeah.
So they should give that space to those people who are entitled to that,
Yeah, I think it would be far better to somebody to go in there and administrate the whole thing and say, if you've got a single bloke, for example, who's in direct provision, well, that should be a mother and child. He should be out in the tent. Do you understand what I'm saying? We should be administrating this properly.
Like, you see, they are now like putting tents or something. That's ridiculous, honestly. Like, you can take people that you can accommodate. You can provide them accommodation. You can support them. But you're talking like there will be children, there will be women, there will be pregnant women, there will be like,
Yeah.
And we are getting like, it's not now, we are not living in summer. Now it will be like very cold as well. And they are saying that will be like for a week, like 2-3 weeks or 5 weeks or 6 weeks. I don't think so that will be the case.
No, this is Ireland. It's going to rain a lot probably very soon. And aside from that, I mean, do you think we've got to a point, I know it's all right for you now because you're here since 2019, so you can say what you want, but do you think we've got to a point where we need to say, enough, we can't do anymore, we need to stop letting people in? Have we got to that point?
We have got to the point, I think, a few years before, but the thing is, in this case, they have to bring more kind of legislation. They have to put more steps to, to investigate properly. I think there are people that they are coming from one country telling, okay, we are not coming from that country, we are from this country. There are people there, they are flying like...
Well, a lot of them are coming from the UK. Yeah, we know that.
It's 90% that I can guarantee you, like, if they start inquiry or they put investigation in place, they will find those people who are being granted a refugee status, they will be students from another country. Okay,
well, you came from a country where genuinely there was a war, so your life was in danger. So you fit the criteria. But there are many people coming from places like Albania and Georgia and other places like that where there is no war. Actually, if you go up onto TripAdvisor, some of these places are considered to be reasonably safe. So there's no reason apart from being economic migrants.
They can issue them a visa. They can give them visa or what is called resident card with the condition. There is no problem. We cannot say to the immigrants like, okay, we don't want to be racist or something, But in this case, like, if you don't have a space for your own people and you're getting like 1,000 and 100 people every day, I think
Something is
like,
broke. Yeah, something's not
Yeah,
working out
yeah.
too well, really, is it?
Yeah, so it's like, for their own people, like I see like people in the street, like the rental like properties. There's no property to rent, honestly, not only in Dublin, in other cities as well. Like if you go to far to another town.
And can I ask you, Ayub, since you came to Ireland, do you like Ireland?
I've been to a lot of countries. Honestly, I've been to 13, 14 countries. I would say like Ireland is one of my best choices that I came to this country.
And what makes Ireland, I suppose from our point of view, when we look at refugees or asylum seekers coming to Ireland, we wonder why they choose Ireland. In your view, over the last 4 years that you've been here, what makes Ireland better?
If I go through everything, you will say like, okay, they will take longer. But I will tell you in short words, like I came to Slovenia where I claim an asylum. Like I wanted to stay there, but I didn't get support. So I had to leave that country. I came to Italy. They were not providing me any accommodation, anything. I had to stay in the street. I came to France. I was there for almost 2-3 years in the street as well. So staying in a tent and living in a port and stuff like that. Like they was not, I went to their immigration office to give me accommodation. Like I had applied for asylum. My case was in a process, and they said, we have our own people in a street. If you want, you can go to Germany or another country. I went to the UK, and I was the same case in the UK as well. No accommodation. You're not allowed to work. You're not allowed to get education, and we won't provide you accommodation. And I had no reference to live there with someone or to support me or anything.
Okay.
So I had no other choice. Then when I came to Ireland, like from the day first, okay, they give me accommodation. But 2019 was completely different to we are living in 2023. So at that time when I came, I was provided accommodation. I was treated well. But,
Okay, so you believe the reason that a lot of people come here, or because they stay here, is because the supports, well, up to now, otherwise if you came here now, you'd be put into a tent in Stradbally. But up to now, the support has been good for accommodation, for food, etc., etc. In other words, you're looked after until you get on your own 2 feet.
Well, in 2019 it was good, but I'm not sure about now.
No,
because
I don't, probably not as good now.
Like I have worked with the refugees. I help, I normally go to visit them. I have seen their place that was in Sarboga Road or somewhere in Blanchardstown. I think that was our sports center. I have visited that place, and also the City West, somewhere in Waterford, Roscommon, all the places I have visited them. But I would say some of them they've been provided like with the hotels, stuff like that. But most of them they are living like in
cubicles.
Bad situation. And plus, people are saying that there are refugees, the migrants who get into this country. Some people, they have in their mind, okay, they are getting 220 years or 230 years or whatever they are, So that's not the case. The migrants who came to this country, they get 38.80 € per week, not as others.
And when you say you've accommodation now, if you don't mind me asking, I don't want to know where you live, but what sort of accommodation have you got now? Are you okay now?
I live in Dublin, 6.
Okay, in an in a flat, in an apartment or something like that, is it?
It's a flat, but
okay.
If you're living in a flat and plus you're living in a rat mine, that will be kind of very tight, and we are not only in a 2-bedroom flat, you can say you're living 4
But you're getting by. Yeah, you're okay. You're doing okay.
Yeah, but we are all we don't get any kind of social support or to apply for anything.
Okay, but you're working. You're working. You are working now anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So since I am in this country, I don't think so. From 2021, after that, when I left that place, I haven't got any social support or anything. I did everything by myself. Even though I tried to get education as well. I thought maybe I will do education plus work full time. I pay that from my pocket as well, but I wasn't able because I was working night shift. I'm still at work.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, that's the plan, is to try and get people on their feet, get a job, look after themselves. That's the plan, isn't it? Well, stay there just for a second, Ayub, if you can, because I want to go to Jason as well. Jason, hi, how are you?
Good evening, Niall.
I mean, Jason, I suppose that's the way it should be done. You come into a country, Now, he's explained, and he's been very honest, Ayub, as to why he came to Ireland, because he got support, he got
What's the
accommodation.
gentleman's name? What's the gentleman's name?
The gentleman's name is Ayub.
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 Ayub. Good evening, Ayub. Can I say something to you?
Yeah.
You sound like you're going to be a great addition to this country, and welcome, my friend. And this is exactly what I've been talking about for a long time to these. If we let these lads walk, guess what, Niall? They're not going to come over here and take all our social welfare and clog up our hospitals. And guess what? When they leave our countries, they want to come to another country and make a better life for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not sit on the social welfare. They're doing the jobs that our lazy arse people will not do.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Niall, yes, there is economic migrants, and we're living in an era now, Niall, where the world is on the move. We don't own this land that we're on. We're only on it for 80 years each.
But
So,
why,
I mean,
but
this
wait,
idea-
hang on. Let's get back to what we're talking about today. Is there a point where even Ayub is saying, that people are in direct provision who shouldn't be there? They're here a long time now. They should be out looking for work. They've got PPS numbers. They
Most
should.
of them will work, though, Niall. And
What?
Niall, the gas part is, I'd say 90% of them will actually go out and get a job because they don't want to go to some other
but they
country.
can.
And but there's a lot of them when they're in the direct provision and you're not allowed work, and a lot of these people
think-
coming in ain't allowed work for a while.
I think they brought in new rules there 2 years ago. They get a PPS number for 6 months or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, well, give it to them, and I tell you now, watch how many of them actually go down and sign on. Very few of them.
Now, can I establish, by the way, you only give a PPS number to somebody who you know who they actually are. In other words, they have a passport and documentation.
No problem with all that.
but hang on. But here's the thing.
Niall, I'm not talking about open borders. I'm not talking about
I know.
let everybody walk.
No, you don't want a
what I'm
free for
talking
all.
about. No, we don't, because we can't. We're on a little rock out here. Europe is a big place. Look at the state of England at the moment, man. They're up shit creek without a paddle. And I mean, look at the boats. And what your man Richie Sunak's thing is number one priority. is the
Rwanda,
boats.
sending everyone to Rwanda.
Come here, did you not see the football the other night and the big sign going around the football stadium?
No.
I don't know what match it was. Flight to Rwanda with Emirates Airlines.
Oh no, I didn't see that. Okay, but getting back to the news yesterday. So now they're going to accommodate Ukrainians in Stradbally in tents.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Have you ever slept in a field in the middle of Laois in the middle of autumn?
No.
It turns into a bog. What's the middle of Ireland called? The bog of what? Why is it called that? Because it's a bog.
Yeah, it's soaking wet, it's mucky, it's horrible, and it's going to be cold in a couple of weeks' time.
Niall, do you reckon the farmers putting up a bunch of complaints wanting to get the tents off his field?
Well, somebody's getting well paid for it. That's all I know, including catering companies. Yeah.
Have you seen the? As Lorraine is sitting here telling me, they're glamping tents, whatever that means. It means they've running water, and some of them have stoves.
No,
and
they
I said to her, Niall, I said to her, I says, right, well, come on. I says, you go on down there, I says, and send the family up here for 6 weeks.
Yeah, I would not.
Do you know what she said?
Yeah.
What do you think she said?
I have no idea. Tell me.
Not a second hope.
But you heard Ayub. Ayub has been to, I think he said 16 countries. And in most countries that he was in, all he had was a tent. He wasn't given accommodation. So all he needed was a bit of accommodation, a little bit of time to get his act together.
All he needed, Niall, all Ayub needed there was to be treated like a human being. And guess what he done? He came in here and he made a life for himself. He's not taking anything for nothing. Who wants to live on €38 a week?
I know. Yeah, I know.
All right, we have people in this country whinging when they're living on 200 and 400 social welfare a week. Mm-hmm. And these are our what do we like to call them? Our own.
House.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so there's a man that travelled halfway across the bloody globe, and we all know what happened in Afghanistan, okay? We all know what happened over there. We accepted him. We treat him like a human being. I know he's turned his life, and there he is making, he's contributing. And guess what? We do need people in this country to work. We're running out of pension.
Yeah, no,
Does
there's
everybody
no problem getting jobs. There's plenty of jobs to be
Oh,
got.
but see, there's people won't do them jobs because they have a good life on the dole. But you give it to a man like Hugh Bain, who literally had nothing in his pocket. Ayub, sorry, I beg your pardon. Ayub, who literally had nothing in his pocket. He'd appreciate doing that lower job and work his way up the plant. We have people in this country that they just want to go straight in at the CEO.
By the way, I'm just curious about something too, Ayub. Just been thinking about it just while Jason's talking there. Ayub, sorry, you're still there, Ayub, yeah?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah.
Do you have family back in Afghanistan?
Yeah, I do have family back in Afghanistan.
Okay, so what's going to happen there? I mean, do you qualify under the family reunification program, or how does that work?
Unfortunately, I was Refused.
Sorry?
I was refused.
You were refused.
Yeah, because what's happened is in September 2021, I wasn't given refugee status at that time when the Afghan government collapsed. So after that, they says, no, you are not entitled to that. But I saw it like, the people who are being granted a status, they have came to this country after me. But their families are here. So I don't know. Like in my case, I wasn't lucky or whatever.
And when you say you've got family, have you got children?
No.
Okay.
So I'm 28. I'm 28 years old.
Okay, so you just like...
I'm looking after my younger brother.
Okay.
Everyone back home. Like,
And have you been back home since?
Since 2014, no.
Wow.
Yes, because even if they allow me, I cannot go to that place for my own safety. So like I don't.
No, I understand. I understand that. But technology has probably made it a bit easier that you can at least communicate with
just,
people.
Like talk to them. Like I recently lost my father as well. I was just speaking to him. Like it's all like I was here. Like
I'm sorry to hear that.
I did as much as I could. Like I sacrificed my dreams, my education, my careers, and everything, but just to have them a good life and have them
Yeah. Yeah, no, okay. Well, hold on just a second. I want to go to Melissa as well. Melissa, hi, how are you?
Good evening, Niall. How are you?
Yeah, I've been listening to Ayoub's story, and okay, it's maybe not everybody's story, but look, he came here, he believes that people are holding up direct provision by being in it when they shouldn't be. He got out of direct provision as soon as he got a job, and he applied for permission to remain. Now he's working, he's got his own accommodation. So that's the kind of plan, isn't it, really, all the time? That's what we need to do. But that's...
Absolutely. I don't think there's anyone in this country that would deny anyone that kind of right to live, right to work. Unfortunately, there's so many of them that aren't. There's so many that are refusing to learn the English language. I know for a fact an amount of Syrians that came in and refused to learn the English language and are still not working after nearly 3 years of being in this country and don't want to. Like, if they're not willing to learn the language,
they're not going to get a job.
Get work.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. Yeah.
And they can't be forced to learn the English language. And
well, they did I remember George Osborne, should I say, in the UK, who was the Minister for Social Protection or whatever it was in the UK many years ago, said he was going to cut people off social protection in the UK if they didn't learn English, because he said it was hampering them getting a job.
Well, I absolutely, but they're not doing that here. We have Syrians here 4 and 5 years that have refused point blank to earn English, and I was told by the council, they'll all be working and they all are this and they're doctors and everything. We could all spiel of all this education that had come in here. It was all a lie.
Okay, but getting back to my original topic, we've gone off on a bit of a tangent, and because I'm delighted to hear Ayoub's story, by the way, because I think it lets people know that there is light at the end of the tunnel for many refugees that come into Ireland. But in saying that, 750 Ukrainians in a tent in the middle of the electric picnic, where the electric picnic site in Stradbally, in Laois. It's bonkers.
Scandalous is the word.
So what's the answer? Because the government don't know. They don't know the answer.
They have to stop. But in fairness, the other countries are giving us the answer. It's not like we have to remake the wheel here. They've stopped them coming in. They're sending them back to areas where are safe countries like Georgia. Like, this is happening all over Europe, except in Ireland, Niall. We're like the fools. The world is laughing at us at this stage.
Sorry, Niall.
Yeah, Jason.
Sorry. Not really. I mean, the fact that they're on mainland Europe, we do get very, very, very few of them. I mean, because of how far out.
Sorry, very few of what? What are you talking about, very few?
All these economic migrants that are moving throughout Europe, we do only pick up a very few. And the people that are making these laws...
We'd about 5,000
honestly, if you come here, I'm not mad, but if you see what... It's very few in relative terms to what's actually walking through Europe. Have you seen? In relative terms to what's actually moving through Europe
I'm
alone?
well aware of
we're the last stopping point. In all fairness, we are the last stopping point because of how far. Of course you can. But what I was trying to say to us, the people that are making these rules don't have to suffer the consequences. They don't care. Like, they don't live in the housing estates or in the areas where these people are going to flood into.
I'm well aware. I'm sorry, I've just been brought onto the radio and you're after taking up my airspace time here, so can I have a moment just to... Thank you. I just got a call to come on and you just came in, so do you want me to go offline again? Or what? Thanks.
Yeah, make your point.
I just got a call. I was trying to.
Okay, go on.
Very rudely interrupted, in fairness. We have over 20,000 in here. There's 5,000 known undocumented. And then there was the ones with all the fake documents. So where's he coming out with?
Jason, to be fair, Jason, per head of population, and with the increase that we have seen, and also with the amount of Ukrainian people that are coming to Ireland, we have an increase in population of about 120,000 over the last
125 now, actually.
in the last 18 months or less. That's a lot for a small economy to handle.
25,000
when we've already got a housing crisis. So I do accept what Melissa's saying. And and there are many people from the UK who were, in the UK from different countries, economic migrants from different countries, who when they got the threat of being sent to Rwanda and the kind of fear going on there at the moment that they're not being treated as well, decided they'd come to Ireland. So we're seeing a lot of that as well. We're seeing a huge increase.
I do agree with that, Niall. I do agree.
Stop.
I do agree with you, Niall. We are. But what I'm saying in relative terms, so the amount of people that are actually moving at the moment, like we are the last stop, thank God. I mean, imagine we were this little country that we are in the middle of Europe. Like, we'd have no way of controlling them. They'd be coming at us from all sides.
You are aware
at least this way, we only have them coming at us from one side.
Right? You are aware they already have put out numbers in 2019.
If they had their own way, there'd be no borders.
They already decided in 2019 they wanted 1 million. So where do you think this is going to stop?
I mean, do you know what their bottom line is? They know we're running out of people here to pay the pension in 40 years' time.
By the way, but both of you for a second. Are you still there? Well, hang on, Jason. Hang on, Melissa, and hang on, Ayub, or Jason. Ayub, are you still there?
Yeah, I can hear you, yeah.
Ayub, when you listen to this conversation on the radio and you hear people fighting over, how many people should be allowed in, economic migrants, asylum seekers, refugees, how does it make you feel?
The thing is, it's quite understandable, people are living in Ireland, people are from here, it's still like they are in crisis, so they are getting more people, for example. Right?
No, she's just a good man. That's a go on. Yeah, go on.
So they are getting more people. That's fine. Like, okay, but even they have their own people in their streets. But if they are getting 100, 200, 300 people, like not like women or children or whatever, but like individual, like male like me. Okay, I'm coming here. We know that there are people that they are coming. They have status in other European countries, but they want to come here.
Yeah.
Just to get their documents.
All the rules said you go to your first safe country. We don't want anyone hurt. Everyone should be able to live safely. But they are jumping 6 and 7 countries to come here. So but
Ayub admitted, by his own admission, he had been in 16 different countries before he came here.
Sorry, Niall.
But the reason he came here was because he couldn't live in those countries because he was living on the streets. They wouldn't give him accommodation.
Sorry, Niall.
If I tell you this, whenever I went to any country, I wasn't let to be as let in Ireland. Okay, I was completely searched. I was taken off my pants, shirts, and everything, and I was interviewed in each country for 12 hours or 6 hours non-stop.
Niall.
Yes, sorry, Jason. Go ahead, Jason.
Can I interject there for a second? People have this thing that they're illegal. You're only illegal when you step foot in the country, apply for asylum, and your application is refused. And this other myth of you have
You're illegal when you've no
No, Jason, you're incorrect. If you come into Ireland and you have no documentation, you're here illegally.
I'm talking about documents. I'm not talking about documents.
But hang on, a lot of people, I'm not talking about Ayub, but a lot of people come into Ireland with no documentation.
Sorry, no, can I?
But you can say something, but don't make statements that are not correct.
Sorry, no, I wasn't talking about not having documents. If you look under the UN I'm not talking about them. And people saying you have to stop in the first country. If that's the case, we get nobody. We're on an island. And England are not at war. Okay, it's the same as the English saying about the French.
So we're going to break all the laws?
Refugees are allowed travel. Refugees are allowed travel around the world. Okay, if they have their paperwork, you only become illegal. You only become illegal. You only become illegal if you're refused entry into a country and refuse to leave. You can get to a country.
Okay, again, Jason, I have to stand corrected. When we look at the report in the Irish Times, and many people who are coming to Ireland seeking international protection don't have any documentation or passports. If you enter a country with no documentation and no passports, you're breaking the law. You're breaking the law. It's illegal. Mind you, there's only been one arrest, but it is illegal.
I've no problem with that, Niall. I've no problem with them. They're breaking the law, send them back. I'm talking about other people that get into the country with their documents. This business of you have to stop in the first safe country. If that was the case, us in England would never have anybody.
No, well, the rules of the convention say you go to either the first safe country or the second safe country, but the second safe country can refuse you and can send you back to the first safe country.
No, you know,
I don't want to get into all that tonight. I'm trying to talk about the electric picnic. That's what I'm trying to talk about, but nobody seems to want to talk about that.
We also have the Dublin Agreement. We can send them back. We signed up to the Dublin Agreement. We can under the Dublin Agreement. Under the Dublin Agreement, we can actually. As soon as you call me idiot, look at the law now. Don't start calling names, okay? Because under the Dublin Agreement, we can send them back.
And they opted into extra in 2020. I watched them live signing them. Keep up before you attack. Okay, they signed other.
Sorry for a second, keep up before you attack. I wasn't attacking anybody. I didn't call anybody names. So if you want to have a sensible conversation, I will. If you want to get down,
can I please get back just finally, because I only got 20 seconds. Can I get back to talking what we're talking about? Even Ayub, who has been through the system, who has struggled in 16 countries, who has lived homelessly on the streets in many countries around the world, and thankfully has now made a life for himself and got himself a job, his own accommodation, looking after himself. Even he is saying, at this point, we need to seriously look at what we're doing. We have to be cruel to be kind to some degree. In other words, you can't keep letting people come into a country, Jason, when you have nowhere for them to stay. And we're treating them like dirt.
Niall, I've already told you. I came on to tell you we shouldn't be putting them in there. I've told you, but I've also told you the people that make these rules are not in our country. They're sitting in Europe and telling our government what to do. And these people will never be affected. I've told you all that. I agree with you. I don't believe in open borders. I don't believe in letting people off planes and boats without documents. I believe you put them back on the plane. I agree with all that. But what I came on to say, when I heard that man's story, treat them like human beings, and look at that man got a job.
Well, no, Melissa said fair play to him when she came on the air first. She has no problems with that man, and she's no problems with anybody who comes over here and makes a life for themselves.
No, I'm the same.
Okay, now, look, there's no point in everybody just shouting. I mean, that's not going to get us anywhere, really, is it?
Real people, real opinions.
Real Talk Radio, the multi-award winning Niall Boylan Show.